Hi, I'm Tom Smothers, and this is my brother Dick, and welcome to the original Smothers Brothers Comedy Hour.
The show you're about to see first aired on April 20th, 1969.
It's April 20th, 1969. We were no longer, we weren't.
Well, we'll get into that later.
Okay.
Our guests on April 20th, 1969 were singer Anthony Newley, Leigh French, and the Clingers.
We didn't know it at the time, but this was to be our last show of the series. We taped the show and it was gone. We were fired while the series was still in high ratings, though. And since this is, this was the season finale, we got every guest we had that year to hum our theme song.
So here now is the original Smothers Brothers Comedy Hour from April 20th, 1969. Dum-ba-dum.
Smothers Brothers, 0227, air show, take one. From Television City in Hollywood, ladies and gentlemen, meet the Smothers Brothers.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. As most of you can see, my brother is once again not with me this week, and this being the last show we're taping this year, I'm sure that he'll be on some of the reruns. But it's really not just the same saying farewell for another year without that crazy mustachioed, zany, madcap, fascist brother at my side. I did last week's show, not last week, 2 weeks ago, I did the whole show without him. He was somewhere else, and to tell the truth, I really had a great deal of fun, because my needs in life are quite simple. All I need is my guitar here, my golden throat, my magic fingers, and, of course, you wonderful people, and an incredible amount of money. I'm just kidding. I don't need you people. Seriously, folks. But when you think about it, what I don't need, and this is for true, what I don't need is some crazy, hot rod crazed kid putting me down every chance he gets on just because he's my brother. And I don't need that because I've got something that, well, it's more important. Something that can fill any void, and because I've got show business in my blood. There's no business like show business. There's no business I know. Everything about it is appealing. Everything the traffic will allow, yes sir. Nowhere can you get that happy feeling when you are stealing that extra bow. Oy vey.
Just go on with the song.
So you decided to come back just when I was getting into my heavy showbiz number. You had to come in. You couldn't stand being away because I was getting a couple of laughs there, and you had to come in, huh?
Yeah, you got a lot of laughs, Tommy, a lot of laughs, because when I'm gone, they all laugh behind your back.
Why don't you just take your mouth in for a overhaul and give a lube job to your mustache?
Tommy, I saw that show. I saw
What's that all over your lip?
What do you mean, what's all over
The old Scorpio sore or something like that? Got smart and someone probably punched you out, huh?
No, I just got injured a little bit. Listen, I watched that show when I was gone, and the comedy on this show, I'm very proud to say, your comedy in particular meets the new low. Just way down there, it was the most ridiculous, inane thing I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, well, just don't try to make up now. I never liked you before you became a bigot.
Listen here. Tommy, you are absolutely impossible to work with. You have Nan Rowan on the show, and he won't come back. He told me, he says, you're the worst person in the world he's ever worked with, and he doesn't like you. Personally, professionally, or anything else? And I said, stand in line. That's a long line, because my brother's the most ridiculous person in the world.
Yeah, well, anybody with a mustache is kind of a...
Shut up. I'm not through yet. The only reason I'm here is because you have the name of Smothers, and I have to protect that name. If you change your name, I'd leave you alone a little bit.
You were adopted.
It's not
You
good
don't.
enough.
You're
You're the worst ridiculous comic I've ever seen in my life.
Oh yeah. It's good to have you back.
It's good to be back.
I don't even
Really
know. I
was.
don't even know how I did the show without you.
I don't know how you
Leslie.
did it either, but you did a good job. I'm really serious. You did a beautiful job.
And you did a beautiful job at Sebring. My brother, by the way, was the highest placer in his class. He took a 8th overall and first in his class at Sebring 12-hour enduro race.
That's right.
And that is beautiful. I'm proud of that too.
Thank you. I scared myself too.
You scared me too.
I'll tell you that.
You feel right on
Hey.
your mouth, didn't you?
I missed a ship. Let's get on with the show.
There's no business like show business. There's no business I know. Even when the turkey that you know will fold, you may be stranded out in the cold. Yes, there's still waiting for a sack of gold. Let's go.
It's the Smothers Brothers Comedy Hour. With guest stars Leigh French, the Twingers, special guest star Anthony Newley, the Jimmy Joy Singers, the Ron Poindexter Dancers, and Nelson Riddle and his orchestra.
Our next guest is part of the family. The hope for peace and a firm belief that vegetables is the only road to health. Keep her very happy and entertaining. You're next.
Oh yeah, just noticing the thing on your mouth. Someone punch you in the mouth. Got a terrible thing in your mouth.
Just go ahead, Tom.
Makes me sick. Now this next guest of ours believes that a carrot a day will keep the evil spirits away.
That's maybe I should have had a carrot, huh?
So let's have a big hand for our own Bugs Bunny.
No, Tommy, hold it. You're wrong. My brother's wrong as usual. You know,
You want a sore on the other side of your lip?
Summer is just around the corner, and with summer we have a change of climate, not only in the weather, but socially as well.
So here to tell us what the climate will be like this summer, our forecaster, Miss Leigh French.
Watch out.
The national climate is a very wild thing to get into these days. You know, with current conditions the way they are, there's a great deal of weirdness affecting our national climate. Now, where is all this weirdness coming from? Maybe if we can break it down and dig it, everything will just be swell tomorrow. So let's do that right now and take a look at our national climate map. You know, on the West Coast, swirling hordes of tourists are expected to move in to the coastal beach areas once again this summer, as they always do. And this shifting mass of hot hordes may create a problem there. Since the San Andreas Fault, which is a big sort of crack in the Earth's crust, runs all the way through California, just like this, scientists are concerned that the additional weight and pressure from these hot, swirling hordes well, it might cause California to break off and fall into the sea. For those of you who do plan to stay in this area, though, but are worried about this, relief is definitely in sight for at least this portion right in here. Informed sources have informed us that the Mexican government is confiscating and burning large amounts of a peculiar weed. It is therefore expected that northerly winds will push an overall high into this area. And possibly on up. Like this. As usual, there is also a definite mass of heat which is trying to bring the high down. Elsewhere in the west, particularly in the New Mexico area, right in here, the heat is also coming on very strong there, and the people there are finding some very far out ways to keep cool. Moving on eastward now and down into Texas, into this area right in here, there are definite social pressures there created by the abnormally dense in that area. Which seem to make it impossible for certain types of long-haired animals to survive in that climate. As we move on up now into the north central states, there's really not a lot going on there now, but later on in the summer, they can expect a downward change right in here on down due to political inversion and local condensation of opinions. Over now, we move into the Great Lakes region, into this area right here. And those inhabitants should be on the lookout for dark masses, which are expected to move in from the south, from this area, and take over all the metropolitan areas there, especially Chicago and Detroit and Cleveland. Oh, there are already heavy storm warnings out in that area, so if you plan to vacation in the Great Lakes region this summer, you'll want to be sure and take along a Soul Brothers sign with you. Now, we move down to the lower East Coast, down into the Florida area here, and the weather there will vary. In early summer, it will be sunny there, and later on in August, it will be Republican. With some hopes of a significant change, one way or the other. There are also some very disturbing formations expected up in this area right here along the coastline here, and they're expecting eruptions here in New York area and New Jersey. Now, as we take a closer look at this eastern section, we've discovered the presence of a small but intense storm center that is in fact causing the turbulent and disastrous climate of our nation. Washington, D.C. Yes, sir, folks, it's this little booger right here. Yes, it's causing all of this. Well, you know, when the weather gets better there, it'll probably be better everywhere. For example, if calmer conditions were to move into the Washington area, chances are that our western climate here would change, and we would get rid of this type of weather, and it would become very sunny and humid in that area. And this warm feeling would probably extend into the Great Lakes region up in here and on down into the south and change the entire climate of our nation. Wouldn't that be wonderful?
You know what I just thinking? What just struck my mind? I just said to myself, I said, wow, like that, because we're getting closer and closer to the end of our last show and the end of the season, I sure want everybody. I sure want to thank everybody who worked on the show.
Now wait a minute. Let's be truthful. Do you mean you actually want to thank everybody?
Dickie, if that's what I said, that's what I mean. Because whatever I say, I mean, and whatever I mean, I say.
Yeah.
Because the great truth in life
All right,
is the thing that will bring us
I
happiness
understand.
and truth
I
throughout the
understand.
life.
I understand. You want to thank everybody.
That's right.
Okay, just think about that for a minute.
I don't have to think about it, Dickie.
I said think about it.
You got a fascist streak in you.
I said think. Don't talk back. Think. It's a new experience. Start out the summer by thinking. Your brain. Think. Are you thinking?
Oh, wow.
I told you to dig it.
Oh.
Ladies and gentlemen, while my brother Tom is thinking, I'd like to remind everybody that a lot of people work together to put on a big network show like this.
Oh, wow.
And we'd like to take this...
Wow, did I just have a heavy thought?
What?
You know, a lot of people work together to put on a big network show like that.
All right. That is just...
I was laying a pretty heavy thought on you.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Now,
Well-
do you want to thank everybody or not? Yes or no?
Sure, I do. I want to thank all of our guests who appeared on this show because of their singing and dancing and everything helped spread a little bit of love and joy throughout the world of wonderment.
That's a very nice thought.
Yeah, and I'd like for all of our guests to join me in singing our exciting brother theme. Everybody, da 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 da. That
Okay,
one.
agree. I guess we'll take Anthony Newley, the Leigh French, the Clingers. Come on out. Tell me what's...
dummy. You want a sore on the other side of your mouth?
You said you want our guests to thank
I said
everybody.
all of our guests, all season long. I want all of our guests, all season long, to come out and...
all of our guests don't happen to be here. You know, it took 25 shows to get this far.
No, see, see, my brother is not my...
I'm over here.
I know where you are. I'm just telling the people out in video land.
Well, they're
My
over
brother
there,
doesn't know that all of our guests this season we've got down in a room, downstairs, a little dark room. I don't know what they're doing. But they're down there, and they're all ready to sing, just sing their little hearts out.
Really?
Yes. Okay. Ready, everybody? Da 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 da. Da 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 da.
Do 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 do.
Ba-da-da-doo. Baise-moi. Ba-da-da-doo.
Bum bum
Ba 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 ba.
Now, see, they're doing a part I don't even know.
I don't know the rest of it.
Why don't we skip the...
Are you sure Bing Crosby started this way?
Roger Carroll, right now.
We'll be right back with Anthony Newley on the second half of the Smothers Comedy Brothers Hour.
Hey, listen, I think I know who they are. And what's more, I think I know where they are. You're probably wondering who I'm talking about. Well, I'm talking about they. You know, they say it's going to be a long winter. They say don't talk with your mouth full. Did you ever wonder who they are? They are the people who tell you what to do, when to do it, how to do it, who to do it to, and how to get rid of it once you've got it. They are running our lives. They are in charge. Ever since I was a kid, I've been hearing about them. Who do they think they are? I'm tired of it, and I won't stand for it anymore.
Tony, could you just stick to the script, please? They say we don't have much time.
See what I mean? What do they know? I'd like to find out who they really are.
Absence makes the heart grow bigger. No, but grows, right? Absence makes the heart grow.
No moss.
No, that's close.
No moss.
No moss. Hey, that's perfect for that Rolling Stone project we have no ending for. You know, the Rolling
Oh, great.
Stone?
A rolling stone gathers no
No moss.
That's perfect.
Perfect.
They'll love that. The minute we send it out in the day, they'll dig it. Marge. Hi, Marge. Marge, could you take this down?
Take it. We got a good one, Marge.
A rolling stone gathers no moss. Well, what do you think, Marge?
Well, it's not spiffy, but it's okay.
Wait a minute, Marge. Don't go. We have another one. We're very close on this.
Yeah.
Write it down. Absence makes the heart grow.
Thicker.
No.
Faster.
No, it doesn't grow faster.
Redder.
No, it doesn't change.
Fonder.
Fonder, that's it. Absence makes the heart grow fonder. Geez, thanks, Marge. Write them up and bring them over there. Put them on your desk.
Excuse me, are you them?
No, we're not they.
We're not
we
they.
know them, but we're not.
Listen, I know you guys have something to do with they, and don't try to tell me otherwise.
we're us.
I demand to know where they are and who they think they are.
No, wait, calm down.
Yes.
You know what they say. They say patience is a virtue.
If you don't let me see them, I'm going to tear this joint to small
Now listen,
pieces
sweetheart.
and have it in a creel.
Sweetheart, calm down. They say don't make waves.
Oh, they do they? Well, let me tell you something. If I don't get them, I'm going to tell you what I'm going to do with you two broken-down barkeeps. I'm going to take you to the National Council of the Creel, and I want to see them now. Now.
Hey, where are your manners?
Yes.
They say it's important to make a good first impression.
And they certainly do, and you're not doing it, and we're going to tell they.
We're going to tell
Where are they? I'll tell them myself. I demand to see them.
They don't want to be seen. But how about a picture?
Anything, but just let me see what they look like.
Well, we don't happen to have a picture of them.
Oh.
Of they. But you know what they say. A picture is worth 1,000 words, and we've got a lot of words.
Yes, they sure do.
I think I broke my laugher.
And you know what they say, laughter's contagious.
I think I've got it.
I think you give... Hey, what's so funny?
Well, they are. They're beautiful.
Oh, really? If they're so funny, let me see them.
Well. If I did let you see them, what would you do with them?
Well, I'd say, what makes them think they're so big?
Now, wait a minute. Before you go, I want to make sure I'm going to find the...
Where you going, Tony?
Hi, Officer Judith.
I think you've gone a little too far, Tony.
The old mace in the face gag.
That's right. You know what they say, you can't fight City Hall. Remember that. I'm gonna let you go this time.
You can't fight City Hall. They also said that if man was meant to fly, he'd have been born with wings. Remember that one? And they said that World War I was the war to end all wars. And they say that if we adopt a new anti-ballistic missile system, this will assure world peace. You know, it makes you think if they really know what they're talking about. So before you do what they say, you got to know who they are. Like this. Music, please. The general consensus of people who have experienced the act of what we call falling in love and have made certain value judgments about the resulting effect upon one's emotional state say that falling in love is wonderful, wonderful in every way. So those people to whom I referred in the above statement sigh.
Part of the art of dance is to make the difficult look easy. Now, dancers train for many years learning the difficult positions necessary for the grace of ballet. For example, this is position number 1. And this is position number 2. And this is one of the most difficult. Position number 4 with a plie.
Tom, what are you doing?
Well,
What are you doing?
You probably wouldn't believe it if I told you what...
You know, you've been really weird lately. I'm gonna have to take you in.
Well, I was, the old mace in the face.
That's right.
Just as soon I'm getting so...
You want to do it yourself? Go ahead. Oh, you weren't supposed to do that.
We'd like to thank our guests for this evening, the Clingers, lovely girls, Leigh French, and our special guest star, the very talented Anthony Newley.
Hey, hey. And we'd like to thank everybody, and we do mean everybody who helped put the Smothers Brothers Comedy Hour on the air this season, right? Comedy Hour. I talk like Ed Sullivan. Comedy Hour.
Probably because of the terrible sore in your mouth, so we can forgive you during this.
Okay, who do we want to start with first?
We'd like to thank all those people. We'd like to start off with thanking our director, Mr. Tim Kiley.
Our producers, Alan Bly and George Sunga.
Our writers, Bob Einstein, Steve Martin, Carl Gottlieb, Paul Wayne, Larry Roman, and John Barrett.
And our musical director, Nelson Riddle and the Nelson Riddle Orchestra. Hey, hey!
And our choral director, Jimmy Joyce, with his Jimmy Joyce Singers.
No, he's popularly known as Jimmy Juice. And our art director, Romaine Johnston, and his associate producer, and our associate producer, Nanette Island.
Our choreographers, Ron Poindexter and the 80 talented toes of the Ron Poindexter Dancers.
That's right. Who else?
We'd like to thank also Chuck Braverman, our young filmmaker who made those beautiful films.
Right. And our costume designer, Sal Anthony, and his assistant, Helen O'Leary, and our talent consultant, Lana Newman, and our assistant to the producers, Mimi Sewell, and our announcer, the one and only Roger Carroll.
Our musical consultant, Mr. Jimmy Dale, and the two charming production assistants, Natalie Goodman, Bridget Jensen, and, of course, our receptionist, Diane Nissel.
Oh, yes, sir. And the technicians who make the wheels go round, Associate Director Bob Lehendro, Lighting Director Art Roberts, Technical Director Robert Schultz, and Audio Dick Oldecker.
You did very well.
I'm very good for a sore in my mouth. Stage managers also we'd like to thank very much because they are so important. Ray Sneath and Peter Barth. And also the guy who puts the tapes together when we have a little problems, he edits it, Mr. James E. Brady. And our, right, good old Brady there.
Who is also known as Jimmy Juicer.
Jimmy Juicer, he's the juicer of Jimmy. And our grips and stagehands and lighting technicians, all of them. They are.
And we'd like to also thank our makeup man, Ben Nye.
He does a good job on
our
you.
Hairdresser, Edie Panda.
Very good job on you.
The assistant art director, Jim Newton, and set decorator, Charlie Kreiner.
Yeah.
And those wizards with the cue cards who keep us going, Cue Cards, Inc.
Cue Cards, Inc. They misspell everything. And, of course, I don't want to forget to thank my lovely secretary, Madeline Smith.
And I'd like to also thank...
Look at that stuff. Oh, wow.
And I'd like my secretary, to thank my secretary who is part of the show tonight, my secretary, Judy.
Judy. Hey, and I would not like to forget our production consultant, a very, very important man, Mr. Jerry McPhee. Hi, Jerry.
Our executive producer, the charming and talented, gracious and witty, Mr. Ken Fritz.
Yeah. Look at that, Kenny. Ken Fritz, he's come a long way.
Yes?
Yeah.
A lot of hair on his face.
Yeah, look at that hair. He had a crew cut when he found him. And that, ladies and gentlemen, that's all of it. The talent, the brains, and the muscle that it takes to put on a show like this.
Just wait a second. But we've thanked everybody here. We thank you very much for putting on the show, but there's one group of people we haven't thanked, and we...
You don't have to thank me, Tommy.
I thank you, too, by the way. I didn't have a chance to thank you.
I'm a whole group, I know that.
You've been a pillar during a lot of problems. But more than anything, we'd like to thank the viewers.
Right.
We want to thank you for continuing to watch the Smothers Brothers show, and we want to thank you very much for your support. You know, there was a producer on CBS, an executive producer of Hawaii Five-0, Leonard Freeman. And he made a quote. He said, "Most of TV manages to deal with nothing that happens to people between the time they are born and the time they die. We never touch the nerve centers of the society we are in."
That's a very heavy quote, too. And we have a certain point of view in the Smothers Brothers Comedy Hour, and we feel that entertainment should contain some opinion, social comment, and should mirror the social changes that are happening in this great country.
Now, we have dealt in satire and social comment on our show, and sometimes we've missed our point. And every time we have missed the point, we want to apologize to those people we have offended. We particularly had some fun, satirical fun, with Lyndon Johnson, our president, during the past couple of seasons.
I remember him.
And sometimes we overdid it. And just in November, we sent him a letter apologizing for overlooking some of the worthwhile things that he accomplished in his administration while he was president.
And he replied to our letter with a beautiful statement, and I'd like to read you a couple short paragraphs on the letter that the president did send us. "To be genuinely funny at a time when the world is in crisis is a task that would tax the talents of a genius. To be consistently fair when standards of fair play are constantly questioned demands the wisdom of a saint. It is part of the price of leadership of this great and free nation to be the target of clever satirists. You have given the gift of laughter to our people. May we never grow so somber or self-important that we fail to appreciate the humor in our lives."
We would like to thank our entire staff, all these people here that helped put on the show for you people out there. And please keep those cards and letters coming if you have anything good to say. So, good night and peace.
Also appearing on tonight's show is Bob Einstein. This is Roger Carey.
That's a lot.
That show has. I have mixed feelings about that show.
Well, that makes it a very normal show.
Well, and more on this show, Dick.
Why would they mix
the whole show? I recall now. There was a lot of tension on this show. This was a show that I couldn't read CBS and I couldn't read the political signs that were happening at that time, and it was a culmination of 3 years of the Smothers Brothers being on the air. Although sometimes you can notice that there is there's some statements, some political statements. When I look at all these shows, they certainly don't give the impression that there was a struggle going on, freedom of speech kind of struggle, but it was, and it was very passionate. Reading the letter of Lyndon Johnson at the end, to me, looks very awkward now, but it was a very audacious and passionate thing that I did at that time, feeling it kind of exonerated
or justify what
we're trying to do. But I was very impressed with the letter from Lyndon Johnson. I had written him a note, although we were enemies in the philosophical world of politics at that time with the Vietnam War going on. But I thought the letter was appropriate. Now I said, I don't know if it was or not. But the thing I liked the most about the show was doing the bit called They Say. And
well, they said you couldn't plug the movie.
They said you couldn't plug the movie. But the they is a lot of that going on today.
And they say that if we adopt a new anti-ballistic missile system, this will assure world peace. You know, it makes you think if they really know what they're talking about. So before you do what they say, you've got to know who they are.
But this was the last aired show, and the show we taped after this show was the final show, and it was never shown, which, of course, you're going to get to see here on E!
Yeah. Well, anyway, that's the Comedy Hour. That's the show. That's the series. Now, I know these are going to be shown out of sequence later on, but this is sort of like in our production series, the last show on our list. And we hope these shows and this Comedy Hour brought back some pleasant memories. And if you weren't around back then, maybe you learned a little bit about what the world was like and TV was like back in 1969.
We'll see you next time with another Smothers Brothers Comedy Hour. So keep your eye on E!, the easiest network to spell.